I'm Bill Clifford, President and CEO of the World Affairs Councils of America, and it's my great pleasure to welcome you to the Carlos and Malu Alvarez 2019 Academic WorldQuest National Competition. Give yourselves a round of applause. As many of you know, this is the 17th year that we've been holding Academic WorldQuest and the 5th in honor of our benefactors, Carlos and Malu Alvarez of San Antonio, Texas. They endowed this program 5 years ago, and we are grateful for their support. I'll be thanking our other sponsors momentarily. But first, I want to welcome Allison Sturma, who's the Director of Public Education, Program Officer for Public Education at the United States Institute of Peace, because they've been such a great partner over these last 3 years. Allison, thank you and your team, and welcome.
Thank you, Bill. Good morning, everyone. Is everyone excited? Yeah? I can say here at the U.S. Institute of Peace, we are really excited to serve as the sponsor and host of the 2019 Academic WorldQuest National Competition. As Bill mentioned, I'm on the public education team at USIP and have the pleasure of coordinating the relationship and partnership on Academic WorldQuest for the past 3 years. And I am distinctly honored to have the right to welcome you to our headquarters. Based on USIP's original mandate from Congress, my team serves as a resource for the American public, for you. Through several strands of our relationship with the World Affairs Councils of America and other initiatives, we are reaching schools and communities across the country to show how international conflicts can be resolved without violence and how peace is possible. You'll have an opportunity to learn more about USIP's work in conflict zones around the world later this morning when our President, Nancy Lindborg, provides keynote remarks. It's a great opportunity to hear from a leader who has dedicated her career to responding to some of the biggest global humanitarian crises out there. She knows very well the devastating impact violent conflict can have on individuals, on communities, and on countries. Through it all, she remains committed to the idea that peace is practical, peace is possible, and that peace is a process. She's looking forward to speaking with all of you, sharing what it means to be out in the world doing this work, but she's also looking forward to hearing from you, hearing your questions about her perspective. So be prepared. I want to say a thank you to the USIP team who's helped me on all the plans for today, to our partners at the World Affairs Councils of America, and most of all, a special thank you and congratulations to the teachers and chaperones who have made your presence here possible today. So a special round of applause for the teachers. USIP recognizes the important role that educators play in helping young people learn about the world around them and develop global citizenship skills, including those that we use as peace builders. But we recognize that this can be a difficult task, and we're here to help. I encourage you to check out our Educator and Chaperone Lodge upstairs to explore our resources, grab a cup of coffee, and keep up with the competition via the live stream. My colleagues here, the ones in the USIP blue t-shirts, and I are here to help you if you are interested in learning more or have any questions about the Institute. Once again, welcome to the United States Institute of Peace, and best of luck during the competition today.
And on 3, I would like you all to say, "Happy birthday, Allison." 1, 2, 3. Happy birthday, Allison. Thanks very much again for hosting us. Okay, I would like to also echo Allison's thanks and gratitude for the parents and chaperones who've done so much to bring you here, as well as the council leaders around the country from 45 World Affairs Councils. Couple housekeeping notes. Students, you should all have on your tables a pen, 10 sheets for the question rounds, 1 sheet for the tiebreaker round, 4 for sudden death, hope we don't go there, and 2 challenge forms. So please check to make sure that your materials are there. Those are the only things that you should have in your possession besides your wits. No cell phones, no devices, no purses, no pockets, books, notebooks, no anything. No smartwatches. Take them off. Okay? There will be no communication between, well, I'm gonna leave the rules to somebody else. I want to thank our sponsors for this event. The Embassy of the State of Qatar is our principal sponsor, providing the wonderful grand prize that you'll hear about again. The Gambrinus Company, NATO, for a number of years has sponsored the competition, as has Johnson & Sterling. We're grateful also to Sasakawa USA, with whom we work on a project called the Alliance Working in America. They're a Japanese foundation with headquarters also here in the United States. And of course, USIP and the Foreign Policy Association for the Great Decisions category questions. That's it for me. I want to say thank you to our judges, Dr. Joan Apple-Lemoyne of Hilton Head, Mr. Matthew Hughes of Kansas City, Dr. Rich Crepage of Cleveland, Ohio. They'll be the judges. You'll learn about whether you have any interactions with them later. And now it's my good pleasure to have someone do the job that I used to do. I'm glad to hand it off to Lieutenant Commander, U.S. Navy retired Patrick Ryan. He will be your MC today. Listen up to Pat. Pat, welcome.
Thank you, Bill. Good morning. Bill was partially incorrect. This is the moment you've been waiting for. And I'm somebody else. I'm pleased to be here. Thank you to WACA for the invitation to participate in the event. In my other role, I'm the president of the Tennessee World Affairs Council, and we've been doing this for a number of years, and I'd just like to give a big hat tip to Carlos and Malu Alvarez for their enduring support for this, to USIP for hosting it, and for WACA for all of their brilliant preparation for this competition. Now, how to play. There are 10 rounds of 10 questions each. Answers are recorded on a paper answer sheet. You have 45 seconds to answer each question, starting from when the question is read. Answer sheets will be collected after each round. The rules. Teams are not allowed to consult with the audience, wireless devices, cell phones, other teams' books, or written material at any point during the competition. Any team found by World Affairs Councils of America judges, runners, or staff to be violating this rule will forfeit that round. If a team believes another team is cheating, they may tell a World Affairs Councils of America representative. However, if the other team is not found to be in violation of any rules, the accusing team will forfeit 1 point. A team consists of 4 players. Player substitutions are not allowed. A player can only use the bathroom during a break. If a player leaves at any other point during the rounds, he or she cannot return until after the break. Parents, alternates, and other guests must remain off the floor at all times. Scoring. 1 point for each right answer. No penalty for wrong answers or no answer. If there is a tie for first through third place, a tiebreaker round will be played. Challenging a question. There will be 3 periods during which teams may submit a written challenge to our esteemed judges using the official challenge form. These periods will occur directly following the recitation of answers for each of the preceding rounds. Each team may submit no more than 2 challenges in total. The challenge form must be filled out completely for the challenge to be considered. There will be no verbal discussion with the judges allowed. You may only challenge questions from the answers read immediately preceding the challenge period. You may not challenge these answers in future challenge periods. Teams are not allowed to consult with audience members prior to submitting a challenge. There will be no verbal discussion with the judges allowed. The decision of the judge is final. If your challenge is unsuccessful, your team will forfeit 1 point. Our schedule for today, round 1. Country and focus, Qatar. Round 2, how to deal with North Korea. Round 3, global refugees and migration crisis. Round 4, we are NATO, the alliance at 70. Round 5, great decisions. Round 6, Japan, U.S. relations. Round 7, space policy. Round 8, World Trade Organization. Round 9, bridging divides to build peace. Round 10, current events. and then tiebreaker rounds if necessary. Everybody take a deep breath. Here we go. Category 1, round 1, country in focus, Qatar. Question 1. Which of the following is true about U.S.-Qatar relations? A, Qatar's main imports from the U.S. are liquefied natural gas, aluminum, and fertilizers. B, Qatar receives substantial U.S. development assistance. C, more than 120 U.S. companies are operating in Qatar. D, the U.S. ambassador to Qatar is William Grant. If I could ask the folks who are standing in front of the table back there to step aside, my timekeeper waves a sheet of paper at me there. So, thank you. Question 2. Qatar will host the Soccer World Cup in 2022. What other Middle Eastern country has hosted the FIFA World Cup tournament? A, none. B, United Arab Emirates. C, Saudi Arabia. D, Turkey. Question 3. Before severing ties with Qatar in June 2017, Saudi Arabia also cut ties in 2002. How long did it take for Saudi Arabia to reinstall its ambassador in Doha? A, 2 years. B, 5 years. C, 7 years. D, 10 years. Question 4. The Qatar Investment Authority, QIA, one of the world's biggest sovereign wealth funds, manages $335 billion in assets. How much does QIA plan to invest in the United States by 2020? A, $20 billion, B, $35 billion, C, $45 billion, D, $55 billion. Question 5. The annual Dow Festival of Qatar celebrates the country's deep connection with blank? A, the sea, B, the desert, C, the skies, D, neighboring lands. Question 6. Which statement about Qatar music is false? A, traditional music has remained the most popular genre in Qatar. Qatari music does not transcend, B, Qatari music does not transcend the country's borders. C, traditional Qatari music is no longer played. D, all of the above. Question 7. Why did Qatar start exploring the oil market in 1923? A, oil deposits were discovered in the Dukhan field. B, its pearl diving market took a hit from Japanese competition. C, a political coup led to a new industrial policy. D, its neighbor Saudi Arabia encouraged Qatar to do so. Question 8. With its Qatar National Vision 2030 plan, the country is trying to strike a balance between an economy based on petroleum and an economy based on blank. A, plastics, B, trade, C, knowledge, D, hydro. Question 9. Once the blockade on Qatar was imposed in June 2017 by its neighbors, which of the following helped Qatar stay stable? A, sovereign wealth fund reserves. B, fish trading. C, the emir donated his personal reserves. D, the government sold half of the country's bonds. Question 10. Which country of the blockading quartet was the only one not to recall its citizens from Qatar? A, UAE, B, Bahrain, C, Saudi Arabia, D, Egypt. Score, yeah. Time. That concludes category 1. It's time to turn in your answer sheets. Please hold them high until they're collected from your table. Any remaining score sheets to turn in? Is that it? Does anyone have a score sheet remaining to be picked up? Okay, we'll proceed to category 2. The topic is how to deal with North Korea. Question 1. Which countries were part of the diplomatic negotiations with North Korea on its nuclear program in 2003? A, US, Russia, Japan, Singapore, and South Korea. B, US, Russia, Germany, France, and South Korea. C, US, China, Japan, Russia, and South Korea. D, US, China, India, Russia, and South Korea. Question 2. In the early 2000s, North Korea withdrew from what diplomatic achievement? A, Korean Armistice, B, South-North Non-Proliferation Treaty, C, Korean Peninsula Nuclear Treaty, D, Nuclear Non-Proliferation Treaty. Question 3. What is one factor that can be attributed to the thaw in relations between North and South Korea? A, new leadership in the South with Liberal President Moon Jae-in. B, great concessions from Kim Jong-un to improve human rights. C, the North seeking to strengthen its ties to China. D, weakening of the Kim family dynasty. Question 4. Over what body does the Presidium rule? A, the Supreme Court. B, Supreme People's Assembly. C, Parliament. D, Provisional People's Committee. Question 5. After his inauguration in 2017, President Trump set up the, quote, New York Channel for what purpose? A, communication with Japan, South Korea, and China. B, broadcasting U.S. news directly to North Koreans. C, communication with North Korea. D, connecting with North Korea's UN committee. Question 6. Located in South Korea, the Settlement Support Center for North Korean Refugees is also referred to as A, Center for a Better Life, B, the Hanawan Resettlement, C, Seoul Center for Change, D, Pyeongchang Resettlement. Question 7. The prospects for peace on the Korean Peninsula have been relatively encouraging because of which of the following factors? A, Kim Jong-un's desire for another Korean summit with Moon Jae-in. B, unification of North and South Korean families. C, a pledge to implement tangible tension reduction measures along the DMZ. D, all of the above. Question 8. In the Pyongyang Joint Declaration, South and North Korea agreed to hold a groundbreaking celebration for what? A, merging the two countries. B, beginning East Coast and West Coast rail and road connections. C, creating a shared airline. D, renovating the DMZ. Question 9. What is one common point of skepticism that stemmed from the June 2018 summit between President Trump and Kim Jong-un? A, the summit failed to clearly define denuclearization. B, the summit happened too early in Trump's presidency. C, the summit was not given China's blessing. D, the summit was not held in a legitimate area within Singapore. Question 10. The recent thawing of North-South relations represents an outgrowth of what foreign policy strategy coined by former South Korean President Kim Dae-jung? A, Korea United. B, wag the dog. C, catch and release. D, sunshine policy. That concludes the second category. Please raise your answer sheets high until the scorekeepers collect them. Please hold up your score sheets. Thank you, scorekeepers. Are there any more answer sheets to be collected? Category 3, Global Refugee and Migration Crisis. Question 1. The United Nations estimates that there are now blank people around the world aged 10 to 24. A, 950 million. B, 1.2 billion. C, 1.8 billion. D, 2.3 billion. Question 2. The 1951 Refugees Convention does not include those fleeing from A, persecution, B, climate change, C, war, D, all of the above. Question 3. While refugees fleeing from Syria and Iraq have headed to Western Europe and Scandinavia for a better life, many also seek refuge in A, Turkey, B, Azerbaijan, C, Bahrain, D, Saudi Arabia. Question 4. The organization Refugees International works to A, protect refugees crossing the U.S.-Mexico border into the U.S., B, offer policy recommendations to U.S. government, the UN, and foreign governments, C, conduct field missions in Syria to identify displaced persons' needs for basic services, D, all of the above. Question 5. While the percentage of people being apprehended at the U.S.-Mexico border dropped by 26% in 2017, arrests of suspected undocumented immigrants increased by how much? A, 20%, B, 35%, C, 40%, D, 45%. Question 6. 90% of Syrian refugees live where? A, cities, B, deserts, C, camps, D, beaches. Question 7. Which 3 countries make up the Northern Triangle where many U.S. asylum seekers come from? A, Belize, Costa Rica, and El Salvador. B, El Salvador, Venezuela, and Nicaragua. C, El Salvador, Honduras, and Guatemala. D, El Salvador, Honduras, and Panama. Question 8. The official definition of refugee was established in the Refugee Convention, which took place in what year? A, 1945, B, 1951, C, 1955, D, 1961. Question 9. Out of the 68.5 million people displaced around the world, how many were internally displaced as of the end of 2017? A, 28 million, B, 40 million, C, 50 million, D, 62 million. Question 10. Opinion polls have shown that people in the EU believe that refugee inflows lead to A, more terrorism, B, reduced social benefits, C, job losses, D, all of the above. That concludes category 3. Please hold your answer sheets high so the scorekeepers can collect them. All right, any answer sheets remaining to be collected? Seeing none, we'll move to the answers to round one, categories 1 through 3. I'd like to ask for volunteers to come up and read the questions and answers. Anybody would like to come up? And thanks for volunteering.
You're welcome. Nice to meet you.
Tell everyone who you are, where you're from.
Okay.
And then if you could read the question and the answer for 1 through 10.
Sure. Hello, everybody. My name is Bethany Eisen, and I'm from Indian Hill High School in Cincinnati, Ohio. And thank you. Thank you. I hope everyone's having a great morning. I'm going to read the questions and answers. So we'll start with category 1, country and focus, Qatar. Question 1. Which of the following is true about U.S.-Qatar relations? C. More than 120 U.S. companies are operating in Qatar. Question 2. Qatar will host the Soccer World Cup in 2022. What other Middle Eastern country has hosted the FIFA World Cup tournament? A. None. 3. Before severing ties with Qatar in June 2017, Saudi Arabia also cut ties in 2002. How long did it take for Saudi Arabia to reinstall its ambassador in Doha? B. 5 years. 4. The Qatar Investment Authority, QIA, one of the world's biggest sovereign wealth funds, manages $335 billion in assets. How much does QIA plan to invest in the United States by 2020? That's C, $45 billion. Question 5, the annual Dow Festival in Qatar celebrates the country's deep connection with A, the sea. Question 6, which statement about Qatari music is false? D, all of the above. Question 7, why did Qatar start exploring the oil market in 1923? B, its pearl diving market took a hit from Japanese competition. Question 8, with its Qatar National Vision 2030 plan, the country is trying to strike a balance between an economy based on petroleum and an economy based on C, knowledge. Question 9, once the blockade on Qatar was imposed in June 2017 by its neighbors, which of the following helped Qatar stay stable? That's A, sovereign wealth fund reserves. And question 10, which country of the blockading quartet was the only one not to recall its citizens from Qatar? That's D, Egypt.
Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Bethany. Extra hat tip for getting the pronunciation of Qatar correct. Just a reminder, this is your opportunity to fill out any challenges you have to questions. You have a challenge form, and those will be collected as we go to break. Any other volunteers for category 2? Hi, how are you?
How are you?
Thanks for coming up. What's your name?
William Fullman.
Introduce yourself, and you can start right here.
There, just goes. All right. Morning, everybody. My name is William Fulmer, and I go to Fletcher High School in Jacksonville, Florida. So we're going to start off with this with North Korea. Which countries were part of the diplomatic negotiations with North Korea on its nuclear program in 2003? The answer is C. For number 2,
Here, read the answer.
read the answer. All righty. The United States, China, Japan, Russia, and South Korea. Number 2, in the early 2000s, North Korea withdrew from what diplomatic achievement? The answer is D, Nuclear Non-Proliferation Treaty. Number 3, what is one factor that can be attributed to the thaw in relations between North and South Korea? The answer is A, new leadership in the South with liberal President Moon Jae-in. Number 4, over what body does the Presidium rule? The answer is B, Supreme People's Assembly. Number 5, after his inauguration in 2017, President Trump set up the New York Channel for what purpose? The answer is C, communication with North Korea. Oh, back of it. Number 6, Located in South Korea, the Settlement Support Center for North Korean refugees is also referred to as the Hanawon Resettlement, which is B. Number 7, the prospects for peace on the Korean Peninsula have been relatively encouraging because of which of the following factors? And the answer is D, all of the above. Do I have to read all of the above? No. I don't have to read each one. Okay, good. Number 8, in the Pyongyang Joint Declaration, South and North Korea agree to hold a groundbreaking celebration for what? And the answer is B, beginning East and West Coast rail and road connections. Now, number 9, what is one common point of skepticism that stemmed from the June 2018 summit between President Trump and Kim Jong-un? And the answer is A, the summit failed to clearly define denuclearization. Finally, number 10, the recent thawing of North-South relations represents an outgrowth of what foreign policy strategy coined by former South Korean President Kim Dae-jung? It seems like a lot of you guys know this, but it's the D, the Sunshine Policy.
Thank you, William.
Thank you.
All right. Category 3. Volunteers to come out and read? Right there. The gentleman in the bow tie. You can introduce yourself and then start here with question 1, question and only the answer.
Hi, my name is Ben Sterling from Covington, Louisiana at Christ Episcopal School. Okay, so the first question, question 1. The United Nations estimates that there are now blank people around the world aged 10 to 24. The correct answer is 1.8 billion. Question 2. The 1951 Refugees Convention does not include those fleeing from B, climate change. Question 3. While refugees fleeing from Syria and Iraq have headed to Western Europe and Scandinavia for a better life, many also seek refuge in A, Turkey. Question 4. The organization Refugees International works to, and the correct answer is D, all of the above. Question 5. While the percentage of people being apprehended at the United States-Mexico border dropped by 26% in 2017, arrest of suspected undocumented immigrants increased by how much? And the correct answer is C, 40%. Question 6. 90% of Syrian refugees live where? And the correct answer is question A, cities. Number 7. Which 3 countries make up the Northern Triangle, where many U.S. asylum seekers come from? And the correct answer is answer C, El Salvador, Venezuela, or Honduras, and Guatemala. Number 8, the official definition of refugee was established in the Refugee Convention, which took place in what year? And the correct answer is B, 1951. Number 9, out of the 68.5 million people displaced around the world, how many were internally displaced as of the end of 2017? And the correct answer is B, 40 million. And number 10, opinion polls have shown that people in the EU believe that refugee inflows lead to D, all of the above.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right. Let's hear it for our volunteers. Thank you. That concludes round 1 of the competition, and we're going to have a break here in just a second. First, let me remind you that WACA has already emailed a few times, but they want to make sure that everyone at home is enjoying the competition also. They can watch the live stream at worldaffairscouncils.org/AWQ. Also, please post on social media any photos or comments that you may have at WAC America, that's WAC America, and use the hashtag AWQ2019. All right, we are going to take a 10-minute break. This is the challenge period in which you can approach the judges' table with your written out challenges. Again, no communications directly with the judges other than to submit your challenge. They'll be adjudicated during the break. And during the break, can I have your attention, please? During the break, a reminder that when you return to your tables, not to bring any cell phones, devices, purses, watches, assorted materials that you've been reminded of. So we'll take our break now, and again, I'm reminded that when the break ends, you must be seated and ready to go, otherwise you'll have to wait until the end of the round 2 break. Okay, so enjoy your break, 10 minutes, and be back in your seats, and challenge period is open.